Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high. Cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live. Somebody, let's go.
Good afternoon. Good evening and good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. Hope this show finds you in good spirits, because another day above the dirt is always a blessing. We need to not forget that more than ever. Okay, y'all, I just got back from covering protests and all that. It's been a very busy day. And of course, was not planning on doing anything live after that, after covering the protests and everything that's been going on. But nonetheless, the news keeps on newsing, and I wanted to give you guys this very quick update. And it sounds like this is going to be something. This is not good news. Long story short, I'm not thinking this is going to be the greatest turnout right now. The greatest results in regards to this whole thing. So we're not here for a very, very long time, but we're here for an informative time, okay? So please do me a favor, hit that like button down below. They changed up the styles on me here. You gotta love that. Hit that like button down below, please, and thank you. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. If you are watching on these other platforms like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick, please make sure you are hitting that follow button. Subscribe to me. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Don't forget to do that. Subscribe. Go and check out the Pascal Show clips and Pascal Raw. Make sure you're subscribed over there as well. That'd be greatly appreciated. Seriously, follow me on all my platforms, seriously, because you just never know when things are popping off. Seriously. Okay, so subscribe, hit that notification bell, set it to all so you never know when I go live. All right, whenever I upload, hit that join button down below. Support the channel if you can. Become a member. That would be amazing. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button again, and of course, check out my Patreon and PascalMerch.com. Okay, guys, we got to get straight into this because, like I said, not going to be on for a very long time, but we're here for the information that we need for today. Okay, this could very well be the end of a very, very tragic story. We've all been wanting to know what happened to Kada Scott, this young woman that that disappeared after going to work. And then a few minutes later, leaving her work, straight up just walking out the front doors of her work, only for her never to be seen or heard from ever again. Now, there has been a lot of things that have transpired as of late from that point on. There's been a lot of question on where is Kada? What happened to this woman? Okay, this Miss USA hopeful, this graduate. She was working for an assisted living facility out in Philly, only for her to just disappear, vanish into thin air. And a lot of people have been wanting to know what happened here. Where is she? Right? Well, of course, we now know that there was a guy that turned himself in. This piece of trash right here. Keon King. He turned himself in, and there's been a lot of information that we've heard or learned about as of late revolving around this guy. We're going to talk about that in just a little bit, because we do need to shed some light on this little mother lover right here, this monster right here. There needs to be some information talked about, because this is an ongoing issue for sure. Okay. But nonetheless, you guys are all here for the meat and potatoes. So we're going to get into that part right now. And I think we're at the end of this search. We're at the tragic end of this search. I don't want to say that. I really don't. I really don't want to say that. But she could very well have been found. Human remains have been found near the grounds of this Philadelphia school, this middle school that they were searching. They were in the middle of searching for Kada. And suddenly, out of nowhere, they found her. Or, sorry, they found remains. I'm sorry. They have not confirmed whether or not it is her, at least from what I understand. Because, like I said, I just caught wind of this. Okay, shout out to my fam. Okay, for keeping me up to date on things when I'm, just getting home, just getting my life together, trying to dry off. Because man, that protest was wet. Okay, but nonetheless, shout out to you guys. Thank you so much. But here it is, though. They found they found these remains on the grounds of an abandoned elementary school. All right. This is the same elementary school that they found items that they say are connected to Kada. I want to make that abundantly clear. These were items that they found that they say were indeed connected to Kada Scott. So again, you have that. All right. So let's get into this article, shall we? Let's get straight into it. Hold on. Sorry, guys. Okay. So human remains found near grounds of Philadelphia school during search of Kada Scott. Human remains were found on the grounds of the abandoned Ada H. Lewis Middle School in Philadelphia's East Germantown neighborhood, where the police have been searching for 23-year-old Kada Scott, police sources have said. Now, the discovery was made in the area where police were searching for Scott, who has been missing since October 4th. Today marks 2 weeks since Kada Scott was last seen. All right. Now, we do have some coverage showing, of course, a tarp. Okay. So clearly these are remains being covered. All right. So we're going to take a look at all of this real quick. But this is some crazy stuff, y'all. Some absolutely crazy stuff. Let's take a look. And obviously there's not really any sound, really. It's just showing that they're out there. They're looking. Pretty crazy stuff. Now, I do want to make this abundantly clear. They have not, from what I've seen, of course, like I said, I was trying to gather as much information as I could. Once I found out about this, I was trying to get everything together, make the thumbnail, do everything I could to let you guys know what's going on, right? But I have yet to hear anything yet. I'm gonna get as much information as I can right now as we speak, okay? But even Fox 29, let me just mute this really quick. Clearly, this is a very active scene, at least as of when the Skycam was out there doing what they're doing. Okay. Now they're saying, let me share. I'm just going to read this off screen so you guys can just hear what the other reports are saying. So according to Fox 29, they're saying Philadelphia police found a body near an abandoned middle school, which we already know. Okay. Where officers earlier in the week were investigating the disappearance of Kada Scott. So, of course, they say what we know. Officers were searching Saturday near the campus of former Ada Lewis Middle School. A police lieutenant on the scene confirmed to Fox 29 that they had found a woman's remains. That is huge. The lieutenant says the woman's body looks like it has been there no longer than a week. Let me repeat that again because I stuttered like a mug. The lieutenant says the woman's body looks like it's been there no longer than a week. Now, remember, earlier in the week, officers searched the campus as part of their investigation into Scott's disappearance. There, officers told Fox 29 that they had found evidence outside the school showing Scott had been there. Sources said they were able to recover Scott's glasses, iPad case, cell phone case, and bank card. So her debit card was there, her glasses were there, iPad case, cell phone case, all of those things were in the area. And now they found female human remains in that same area. And they say that this body may have been there no longer than a week. Now, of course, this is just some backstory for those of y'all who don't know. For those of y'all who are just not, of course, some of y'all are savvy to this case. Some of y'all are not. But they're saying Scott was last seen on October 4th when she left her overnight shift at the terrace at Chestnut Hill Senior Home shortly after clocking in. Investigators said that after she left work, she quote unquote disappeared. Her car was found at the facility's parking lot and her phone was turned off. On Wednesday, police arrested Keon King, that piece of trash, and charged him with kidnapping and reckless endangerment. Keon King, monster, all right, was also charged with another kidnapping case from earlier this year, which was previously dropped. Now, they say police have yet to positively identify the remains because they're still, I'm sure let's be real. They just got the remains. So I'm sure they just discovered the remains. They just got the remains in their possession. So they're doing everything they can to figure all of this out. But here's the thing. You have a young, talented, intelligent woman that had her house or her future ahead of her, a massive future ahead of her, only for this to be snuffed out by some monster. That's just insane to me. Okay? Absolutely insane to me. Now, I will say this too. I think it's fair to say, I feel like it's going to be safe to say that this is Kada Scott's remains, but you never know. Let me just point something out. This monster has a history. We're going to come back to this. It's just them coming up and checking out the, of course, the scene and everything. We're going to come back to it, I promise. But I just want to point out this, okay? Just take a look at this monster right here. This guy has a history of violence. Let me just give you a little bit of that information really quick. We're going to go back to that live cam. It's not live anymore. I mean, it ended right when I started going live, okay? The sky cam view. But I want to make this abundantly clear. I want you to know that this guy had a history of violence. This is not a situation where this guy was just like, he just did it once and it's done. No, he had a history of violence. Let's not forget what he did earlier this year. Remember that footage that we saw? Remember the footage that we saw where he was hopping over a fence, trying to get into these two young women's home, trying to find any way he could to get in? Remember that look of evil on his face? Those dead eyes, soulless eyes that were trying to find a way to get inside that house? Well, what happened is he apparently left, and then the girls came out. They got to live. They got to get out of the house. And apparently, he still ended up nabbing one of them. Yeah, he still ended up nabbing one of the girls. What's even more insane is that he nabbed one of the girls while he had his 2-year-old kid in the back seat. And then proceeded to do God knows what to that girl. SA'd her, attacked her, whatever it is. Then she ran away. He was looking at some serious charges. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, when the time came for them to show up into court, she did not show. She was a no-show. So those charges dropped. Those charges were dropped. Does that sound just? Does that sound right to you? Don't worry, we got more. Because he's done more than just that, guys. We find out. And I did a short about this yesterday. This is why I tell you guys to watch the shorts, okay? Make sure you have that notification bell on, because a lot of times There's times I don't have time to sit down in here and tell you guys a full, do a whole 15-minute video. Sometimes I only got time to do a quick 90-second blurb, okay? Video, all right? So those charges gone because she didn't show. And I understand. I ain't mad at her. I get it. I understand. You get scared of those things. You're worried about if the charges don't go through, that this you know what I mean? He gonna find out where you live and make your life a living hell. He'll just keep going back and he'll never stop, right? It's annoying. I get it. But here's the thing. There's more. So before the remains were found, or these remains were found, and like I said, it may be that this may be the tail end of Kada Scott's search, the story of her search. Now we go into justice mode, right? If these remains are hers, given the fact that they say that it's not like the remains have been there for a very long time, and also that she's female, or the remains are female, and the items that they found in the same area. I mean, you can do the math, okay? You could do the math. But during this time, yesterday, I did a short, and I want to share those pieces of information with you guys. First and foremost, her father, who has been advocating for her discovery, for her to come home, he posted a $10,000 reward for anyone that has any information about her whereabouts, right? That's one piece of information. And of course, now this may be the end of it. So we'll find out more, I'm sure, soon. But here's the other piece. This is crazy. He has, not had, but has an active protection from abuse order from another victim, a third victim. You got the first victim where he took that woman against her will with his two-year-old in the car. She ran off. She got away. He attacked her and she ran away, right? So that's one. Then you got Kada. And then also now you have this active protection from abuse order from a third victim. And that is still active right now till 2027. This is a very violent individual. Oh, let's not forget this too. I'm sorry. One of the other really important parts too is that he's a suspect in a prior R case. Yeah. By a whole other victim. So that makes it 4 victims. 4 of them. This person is on a rampage. For what reason? We do not know. But he's the full embodiment of the devil. I don't care. I said it. Yeah, it's pig vomit, but woo! He I don't even know what to call him. It's like a serial pig vomit? Maybe? Because he wasn't just doing it to one person. He kept going off to other people. You feel me? Full embodiment of the devil right here. But let's go back to that screen, that sky cam. Okay? So you guys can see this too. And again, y'all, this is somebody that should have been locked up after the first offense. Now, should that only be on the woman, on the victim that didn't show up? Like, come on now. It can't only be on her. It's the justice system. What happened here is bad. I'm sure they had enough to take that man down the first time. And they didn't. They didn't take him down. He had a bail that was pretty low during that time as well. So he was able to bail out. I think it was a $2,500 bail or something crazy like that. So he was able to just pay that part, pay whatever percentage he has to pay out, and then kick mother-loving rocks. Only to continue to do this ish over and over and over again 4 times. 3 times after attacking that young woman. Like I said, there's in no way, shape, or form would I ever go and try to victim blame, right? We all got better things to do than that. Because what would you do if you were in that situation and you got somebody coming to your home like this? And we don't know the origin story of how he even knew where those two girls lived in that really creepy video. In fact, I'm going to pull that up so you guys can see that too, just to take a little trip down memory lane, because some of y'all aren't savvy to this stuff. And this dude, woo, I don't know how he knows. I don't know how he knew this girl and where this woman lived, but this is some crazy, creepy stuff that no one should ever have to go through and experience. Hold on. Yeah, I want you guys to relive this one last time, because I just want you guys to see this, because again, the system failed. The system failed these victims. And if that is Kada, which I have a feeling it really is, they failed Kada as well. Okay? I mean, people are literally going like, yo, the DA jacked this up. They flat out refused to request a higher bond, and King was quickly released. Now he's making, and now of course they're going after the DA, because the DA said, they're going like, we don't discriminate. We don't discriminate on financially against people, against these guys that are getting charged or alleged of doing these certain things. We try to give them opportunities, and it's like, no, you're giving these guys opportunities to get back out there to do bad things. That's it. If this guy was caught red-handed doing these unthinkable things, literally napping somebody, okay, holding that person captive, that's a big problem. Okay, that's a big problem. Take a look at this. Y'all don't remember this? Like I said before, Keon, this you?
Caught it. It's all these kids in here. Caught a copy them, bitch.
You heard that? All these kids here. All these kids here. He doesn't care. Hold on. I'm sorry for going back and, but I'm just telling you, look at this dude. You tell me this is normal? You tell me this is normal? You tell me this is normal? You are not wrong with that. With your DV case, it didn't matter if I didn't show up. The state would still pursue charges and a conviction. And I'm assuming Virginia, not every state is like that. And that's true. This guy should have been tried, convicted, and thrown into a jail cell, a prison cell, for what he did. Like I said, when it comes to acts of S violence, of the taking kind, of the S violence kind, of the R kind, of the littles kind as well, there should be zero tolerance on that stuff. He learned his lesson. Let him back out. Well, we don't have the victim here, so we can't really press charges on him. Case dismissed. She's not here. But they have all this bloody, burning evidence, right? That they could literally throw the doggone library at this mother lover, and they don't. Sup with that. There should be zero tolerance. I don't know if you saw Ashley Banfield or Justin, the Nick of Crime, because he's been covering that as well. He invited me onto a TikTok live about earlier last week, if I'm correct. And he was telling me, and this other guy, it's Missing in USA, I think, Missing in USA. if I'm correct on TikTok. But anyway, they brought me on this conversation. And I know Ashley Banfield just brought up the conversation as well with Justin as well, because real talk, there's another guy out here, a kid. He's a kid himself that was out here just straight up serial R-ing people. He was supposed to spend like 79 years in prison for the things that he did, being tried as an adult, and he was looking at some serious time. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he gets a slap on the wrist. Not even a slap. It was like a tap. It was like a touch on the wrist. Okay? A touch. Boop, like that. That's it. For doing unbelievable things to all these victims. Multiple victims, guys. All right? And now you got this guy, a repeat offender that keeps on slipping through the cracks. And what did he do now? I hate to say it, but for a fact, Kada, it's going to be a tragic end for Kada. This is not a situation where it's all going to be just fine and just groovy. No, it's not. I'm sorry to say that. But this is a violent individual where there should have been zero tolerance on, and this guy should have had the freaking library thrown at this mother lover. And guess what happened? Look at where we're at right now. You see what I'm saying? This is what burns my cookies, man.
It's all these kids in here. Call the cops, you dumb bitch. He coming around the window. Go that way, Cameron. Yeah, bitch, go away, bye. Go away, bye. Yep, bye. Bye. Keanu.
I'm playing it again. This is crazy. He hopped over the fence and look how he's like, wow. Like, yeah, I'm freaking Spider-Man. Look at this.
Karen, call the cops. Karen, call the cops. Call the... It's all these kids in here. Call the cops, you dumb bitch.
I also want to point out, we already heard the audio before. I just want to point this out, okay? This woman knows who this guy is. Right when he walks up to the door, right when he walks up to the window, she already knows who this dude is. So clearly there's a history of him already trying to reach out to her in some creepy, messed up, and stalkerish type of way. This guy is a straight up creepazoid. I feel like that is fair for us to agree on, okay? This is a very messed up individual that has some serious, deep-rooted problems. And he's not going to get that figured out just by having one conversation, one session, if you get what I'm saying. He's going to need some serious professional help. And he was still out here driving around in his hoopty, okay? His gold metallic plated mother-loving hoopty, looking for his next victim. We're going to go back to that screen, the sky view, okay? Because again, this is just jacked up, y'all. Jacked up. I'm telling y'all, this is the reason why any y'all who have daughters, shoot, at this point, it doesn't even matter if it's a daughter or a son. People are disgusting out here. Do you know how many stories we're hearing right now? Man, I'm going to let this roll. I'm going to let this cook, but I need to talk to y'all. And I'm not trying to scare anybody. I'm just trying to put facts in y'all's brains, okay? It's time to wake up. We live in some nasty, nasty, mucky, nasty, nasty, nasty times, okay? Doesn't even matter if you're a boy or a girl. Now, don't get me wrong. Girls, I worry for y'all, okay? Always keep your head on a swivel. Always have something on you, pepper spray, whatever the hell, whatever, okay? Keep it with you at all times. Do not play. And if you are traveling out here, moving out here in these streets, if you maneuver out here in these streets, make sure you are maneuvering with people with you that you trust. Not just this random guy he has not smiled, so I trust him. No. Make sure you travel in packs. I know that sounds really weird, but right now we live in some crazy times where people are just getting snatched right off the streets. Dudes are actually trying to traffic women from bars and clubs. And these people are getting successful at it. Oh, yeah, we got this really great spot. Let me go and, hey, why don't you come with me? I got this bottle service over here at this other club. Come with me, though. Sure, yes. Susan, you want to go? Yeah, I don't want to pay any more of these drinks. So then you guys go. And then guess what happens? 2 steps out of the bar in a shadowy area, you're taken. Seriously. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to spit facts. Let me talk about the fellas, though. Fellas, boys, mamas, fathers, keep an eye on your sons, too. Because we got more and more stories of these teachers, y'all, doing unbelievable, deplorable things with our sons. I'm just telling you, it doesn't matter if you're a boy or a girl. We are living in some crazy, crazy times. Do you know how many stories we're hearing right now? Every time I open up, it feels like every time I open up Daily Mail. Come on now, Daily Mail. We hear a new story about she's a freshman high school teacher, a freshman history teacher, and she's just having relations with 3 kids from her history class. Or how about the one where the girl likes to get ran through while guys, these high school students, are wearing a freaking scream mask, for crying out loud? I'm telling you right now, that's not a joke. That's not a joke. That is real. There's a woman out here that has been sliding in her kids' DMs, her students' DMs. Happily married woman, having these boys showing up wearing scream masks to run through her. That's just one example, though. That's just one. There's a cornucopia of other ones, y'all. It's bad. I got a fly in here. Okay? It stinks so bad a fly is in here. Okay? It's bad. But I'm telling you right now, you can't sit there and go, my son's going to be fine. No, he might not. We got to be careful out here, y'all. We are living in some nasty, mother-loving times. And it doesn't matter. I know how it's like, oh, it doesn't matter because it's, when it's girls, it's terrible. But it's a boy. It's my boy. It's a boy. It's okay. No, it's not okay. The double standard is unbelievable out here in these streets, and it should not be okay. It is still R. It's still SA. It is still doing things with somebody who's a little. Doesn't matter if it's male or female. Protect your children. Implement these safety protocols immediately and make sure that they do not play around. Seriously. I'm so sick and tired of seeing these kinds of stories. Now, if it's not in a, affluent, gifted, beautiful woman, it's a innocent 6-month-old baby boy or baby, right? Evil comes in so many different faces, wears so many different masks, and it can come at you at any moment. Doesn't matter if you're 22 or you're 2 months old. So keep your heads on a swivel, y'all. Hold on one second. I just want to see if there's... Okay. we got something. Let's take a look. So, of course, they just moved the remains into a van. Okay. And of course, they're transporting that van, of course, the remains to some to the coroner's office, I'm sure, to run tests to make sure that it is indeed Kada Scott. I feel like it's safe to say that it is, and that we just saw the end to this chapter of trying to find Kada Scott. But we do have something from police. It looks like they are out here talking about some stuff. So this just happened. So let's take a look at this as well.
An update on the case regarding 23-year-old Kada Scott, who went missing on October 4th. A little bit of a somber and grateful moment here right now. Based on tips that have come in over the past few days, as we called on earlier this week, asking for the public to provide any information, any tips, and the public has been fantastic in providing tips and information, and we greatly appreciate that. But based on a tip that came in last night through the night, investigators began the process of following up on that tip this morning, starting around 10 o'clock this morning, following up on that tip. And the tip was very specific that led us back to this location here today, which you all know we were out here earlier in the week doing a little bit of a search. And so based on the investigative information, based on the investigation and what they were following up on that tip today, led us back to this area behind the school, where it's a wooded area. I don't know if any of you have been back there, but it's a wooded area that goes beyond the school. And so we begin to go back into that area where we will locate a shallow grave after being able to remove some of the debris back there, able to locate the body of a human being. All indications at this point is that it's a female. We are not going to confirm at this point that it is Miss Kada Scott, because that has to be done by the medical examiner's office. But we have been in communication with her family as to this process and the fact that we have recovered a human being. And so at this point, it's still a lot of work to be done. I'll be very candid that we can't answer but so many questions. We're not going to get into the investigation at this point because we want to make sure that all of the pieces to this are done correctly and that we don't put out information ahead of time. Because we want the people and the person that we have in custody and anybody else that may be involved in this, we want them held accountable to the highest degree of the law.
Now, I want to make this abundantly clear really quick. I don't mean to interrupt, okay? But he ain't talking. Keon King is not really talking. He's turned himself in for show, but he ain't talking. So they went out there and found her. They put in the time to try to find her, and they did. So that tells me one thing. He ain't talking. He said he did something, I'm sure, but he hasn't given much information outside of that. Okay? So I want to make that abundantly clear. So I don't know if he's going to be saying much even after the fact. But you can tell that this guy was lurking. He went out of his way, lurking. I don't know how he found out where she worked or anything of that sort. I don't know. But it is some creepy stuff that he would be able to do that. But if you look at the video that we've all seen, that we just saw, where he has gone out of his way to hop over a fence trying to get these two girls, which he eventually got one of the girls. He eventually nabbed one of those girls. It's not like he just hopped over some random fence and he goes, oh, two girls, perfect. You see what I'm saying? He knew that person. They knew him as well. He was not a stranger at this point. So it does make you wonder, what's the story? Did he just find her online and just become obsessed? Did she smile at him one day? Talked to him for a second, exchanged information, only to find out that, he's crazy. You see what I'm saying? I got questions, y'all. I got questions.
what they have done. And so I just want that to be clear as to why we will not get into specific details. And so that's where we're at this point. Still a lot of work, but I must say a lot of work has been done around this case. As you know, we've been searching, have done multiple searches. We shut down the police academy. That was a decision made by myself and Commissioner Bethel to shut down the police academy over a week ago, where we brought out the entire group of recruits to comb through this area. Again, so I know, listen, no one is happy that this is the ending, and completely understand that this is a lot on our investigators, a lot on all of us, because again, we all have family members, and this could have been any one of our family members, could be anybody's family member, and that's understood. And
You hear what he's saying, right? He's saying it without actually saying it, but he slipped up right there. You know that, right?
that's the reason that you see the tireless work that's been done by starting with Northwest Detectives, and then by Homicide, by our partners through the FBI, through our forensics office, through any and everybody that has been a part of this process, because we wanted to bring some level of closure to this family. And so, again, we're going to wait until we have official confirmation on, as the medical examiner is going to do their process, and then we will bring that confirmation. But that's where we are right now. Again, I can't reiterate enough how much we appreciate, tips and information that have come in from the public. I still will urge the public that if you have any information, anything that you think is related to this, continue to give us that information via 215-686-TIPS. Still continue to give us that information, because again, we don't know if there are other individuals that have been a victim of this individual that we have in custody. And so I just want that to be clear, that please continue to provide that information if you have anything. But that's where we are at this point. I would also ask you to continue to pray for Ms. Scott's family.
What's the process of getting that official confirmation on whether it's her?
Well, at this point now, we're on the medical examiner's timeline. And so they will, the body will be recovered and transported to the medical examiner's office, and then they will go through their.
Some glitchy stuff there, guys. Just let it rock out. Oh, that's tragic. Okay, there. Oh, come on. Is that bad?
Of any location.
There we go.
Understand that it's not an easy process. And when a lot of wooded area. And so,
yeah, they got wherever they were was like shoddy
today
signal.
That we're here. Make no mistake about it, if we had located the body yesterday, this in terms of this discovery would not, this person has been deceased for a few days, and so for some time. I'm not going to say how many days, but this didn't just happen yesterday. And so, we did a lot of work. And again, I'm proud of the men and women in this organization that have, been doing the work to try to locate Ms. Scott. And again, in our minds, we know this was a possible reality, and here we are, unfortunately.
Does the timeline match up?
Does the timeline of what?
In terms of when she went missing and how long it looks like that grave
As I
has been
said,
around?
I am not going to get into any of the investigative process, because I don't want to mess up this case. And I don't want anyone picking apart what we say and trying to create a defense. I want to make sure that we do our jobs in the most diligent way. We give the district attorney's office an opportunity to do their job in the most diligent way, and that we get a prosecution on this incident here. And so I'm not going to get into any parts of the investigation, not out of disrespect, but just simply because I want to make sure that the person we have in custody and anybody else that was involved in this, that they are held accountable the way that they should be. And
That makes sense. And just so you guys know, if you're watching on TikTok, we're listening to the police, and the police are talking about after her body has been, or these remains have been found. They're basically saying, hey, we're not going to give you guys much information right now because we don't want to give these evildoers, these monsters, an opportunity to come up with some sort of defense, right? We want to hold all this stuff as best as we can close to the vest so that when we go and convict and go after this guy, they have nothing. They can't just come up with some sort of excuse, right? So again, it makes total sense. And I wish more police officers would explain it just like this to the public, because sometimes they're just like, can't give you much after that, ma'am. Sorry, can't say. I appreciate him explaining this. Like, hey, we ain't going to give you much, with all due respect. And I understand everybody's mad, but it's because we don't want the bad guys to win here. We want to come to them in a trial and let them get the whole book thrown right up their asses, right? So this makes total sense to me.
So that's why I'm not getting into the specifics of the case.
The specific tip that came in, could you get into more detail about what was specific about it? Is it in location is it from a community member?
I won't get into the specifics. It's an anonymous tip that came in through our tip line.
An anonymous tip.
As we have been asking for. But it was very specific as to detailing us and directing us to a specific location in the wooded area, going back to your question, a very specific location that narrowed it down. Don't know who the tip is from, but grateful that the individual submitted the tip that brought us back here to this location this morning.
Okay, so very, very long story short, there was an anonymous tip that brought them back to this location, and that's where they were able to find the remains of a female. This is her. This is her. This is Kada. That's for sure. So now I'm wanting to know, they better trace that phone call. Because how would this other person know? Unless Keon, this monster, called up somebody and said, I did this and I put it exactly here. You see what I'm saying? Either somebody else knew or there's somebody else that was a part of this too. So either one. Either somebody like found out from him, he like confessed things to this person before he was locked up, before he turned himself in, or this person was a part of the crime too. So now we understand. They were able to find those remains specifically in that particular area because of an anonymous tip. So I feel like it will be safe to say, unless the other option is there's A, B, and C. The anonymous tip is somebody who actually knew him, knew Keon, and Keon confessed to him in some sort of that particular person, that anonymous person in some sort of way, or that anonymous person was a part of the crime, or this anonymous person was in the area and found the remains themselves and made the anonymous tip and called it in. That's possible too, right? So you got A, B, or C. I'm leaning towards the A or B, okay? Now, if this is somebody else who is involved, I'm hoping that they take him down. The tarot detective just said he talked to his mama. Maybe he did talk to his mama. Maybe that's where the anonymous tip is actually from. But God only knows, right? We'll see. But nonetheless, this all sprung and sprouted from an anonymous tip. So it's not like they were out there looking all over the place and then they stumbled upon her. They got an anonymous tip, and then they went into that specific area and found her. This person gave them specifics of location, etc. And then they went to that location and found her, or found these remains. So yes, I mean, this is definitely Kada. Okay. I mean, we can basically say that they found Kada, but it does make you wonder, who is the person that made that anonymous tip? But let's continue on. That's very interesting information there.
Last question. forget the cursing and the yelling at you guys. It just shows that there's passion behind this. What do you want to say about the passion of the community? They were out here, as you know, last night searching as well. Just your thoughts on just the community's involvement in this case.
Listen, I am not offended by the passion that some of the remarks that have been made as we were walking back. I'm not offended at all, because that's people's emotion, and this is an emotional situation, and so it's to be understood. However, I know what we have done, and the amount of hours that have been put into this process of trying to locate Miss Scott. I know the work that has been done to bring the individual in the custody that we have in custody, and I know the work that these investigators will continue to do to ensure that we wrap this case up and that we do everything to hold the people accountable in the proper way. And so listen, we can't be upset at that. I mean, that's emotion. If that was my family member, or if I was someone I knew, I would have the same level of emotion. And listen, to be quite frank about it, the reason I go through the steps of what we have done is because not every community member, they don't know that we shut down the police academy to bring 300 recruits up here to go searching through an area. They don't know that. They don't know that we had teams of dogs from New Jersey State Police come into Philadelphia to help us in the search process. They don't know that. And so it's my job to make sure that I express that, so that they know that this police department, we took this case serious. We take every case serious, but the work that's been done to again, bring this to some conclusion. Is this the conclusion that we wanted? Absolutely not. But at this point now, we have to do everything in our power to ensure that we bring justice for this family and some level of closure. And so to answer that, no, it's understandable. Listen, that passion you need, because that's also the passion that helps you drive in the tips. That's the passion that gets you to have the support from the community and getting the information that we got. And so it's understandable.
Could we hear from the ADA as well?
Absolutely.
Once and if it is confirmed that this is Kada, what does this mean for King?
It means that we do our job. It means that we take everything that we know.
Throw the damn library at this mother lover.
Let the MEs do what they do, and then everything will come to us, and we'll make the determination of whether we add additional charges.
And what would those additional charges be?
Once we hear from the ME, I'll have a better answer on that. Obviously, we're like you said, we're going in order. Right now, we're on to the ME. They're going to do their investigation. As soon as we hear from them, it'll guide us in what we do.
Again, guys, this is obviously very, very sad stuff. And of course, we're going to keep an eye on this. I just wanted to give you guys all the breaking information that they have been putting out here. They, of course, like I said just a little bit ago, just did that little impromptu press conference. And I do appreciate them being as transparent and being as open as possible. But it sounds like this is Kada. This is Kada Scott's remains for sure. If you get an anonymous tip and then you go to that specific area and find a female body, and I'm sure closely matches to Kada, I feel like it's safe to say that this is definitely Kada. Now, again, it angers me, man. It angers me so much because this type of stuff, like I said before, shouldn't be happening. We need to be taking care of ourselves and taking care of our loved ones. And monsters like this should have been locked up a long time ago. He's locked up now, but that's not without doing all kinds of terrible things. 4 different victims. One now, if my calculations are correct, one now deceased. Okay? One now deceased. After an anonymous tip, and they went out into that area right next to this abandoned middle school, only to find the remains of Kada Scott. Again, my heart and my thoughts and prayers go out to the family in all this. This is just absolutely insane. But of course, if there's new updates, okay, I'll let you guys know. But I truly believe the justice system done mucked this up. The justice system dropped the ball on this situation big time. She should still be alive, y'all. And all those other victims should not be victims. Real talk. But anyway, guys, that is the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. Thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of the conversation. Of course, if you can, do me a solid. All right. Hit that like button down below. Crush it, do what it do. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on other platforms. If you are watching on these other platforms like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick, please make sure you hit that follow button. Follow me on those platforms. Make sure you're subscribing, okay? Subscribe, please and thank you. All right? Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Go to my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Go to my third channel, The Pascal Raw, Make sure you subscribe to all three. Okay, hit that notification bell just so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload. Hit that join button down below, become a member. Check out my Patreon. And of course, check out PascalMerch.com. All right? Anyway, guys, it is time to get going. Much love to you guys. Stay safe out there. Have a safe and wonderful rest of your weekend, and we'll be talking to you very, very soon. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.